You ever open your wallet and realize you're paying way too much money for a card that you barely ever use? Well, that's exactly where I found myself with both the Amex Business Gold and Citi Strata Premier cards. I've been completely ready to get rid of these cards and even told y'all that I was going to do so, but the deeper that I dug, the harder that became. And what I found in my keep or cancel decision making process for these cards may just change the way that you look at your annual fee cards. So even if you don't have the two that I'm talking about specifically, I promise that this one's worth watching. We'll go ahead and start with the Amex Business Gold card since it definitely has the most moving parts with it. And at a high level, the Amex Business Gold card is most well known for giving you 4x back on your top two eligible categories every single month, making it great for high spend businesses, while giving you $395 worth of credits to help offset its $375 annual fee. But honestly, I didn't care about any of that whenever I applied for this card. My rationale in going for it was extremely simple. I just wanted to lock in an elevated welcome offer on a card with a high minimum spending requirement to help me cover my tax payments for 2023. Welcome offers are just the core of the credit card game that we play, and in my opinion, if you apply for a card without a welcome offer, you just wasted an application, because without getting that elevated amount of points for the offers rather than just using our normal spend, it would take years for us to earn enough points to travel in the ways that we want to or put a substantial amount of cash back into our pockets. So literally any time that my spending spikes, even just like $2,000 more than my normal spend, you can bet that I'm looking for a new card bonus. But with the tax payments for 2023 in particular, I had $7,000 worth of purchases that didn't align with my normal spending. And that's what allowed me to go for these cards that I normally couldn't get because they had too high of a minimum spending requirement, like the Amex Business Gold that required $10,000 worth of spend in 3 months. I happened to get really lucky that at the time of me going for this card, it did have an elevated welcome offer at the same time of 150,000 Amex membership rewards points compared to the base of just 70,000 at the time. So I probably would have gone for this card no matter what offer I could find, but 150K being the highest we had ever seen at that point just gave me that final push I needed to go ahead and apply. Obviously, I was approved, and here we are a year later with a big decision to make. As with every single credit card, there are three main options that I have with it. I can either keep it, cancel it, or product change it. And the fact of the matter here is that the welcome offer was reason enough for me to justify this card in year one, even if I didn't touch the credits and benefits on it. So to be honest, I never really considered this card being a keeper in my setup because of just how high the annual fee was. Heck, even a few videos ago, I mentioned to y'all specifically that I was for sure canceling this card and I'd be stuck in pop-up jail for longer. But in getting ready to film this video, I actually found some stuff that made me second guess that initial decision, and that's why we're here talking today. At this point, the only way I can make an informed decision about what to do next with this card is by looking at the hard numbers from the last 12 months. Starting with the welcome offer, again, I earned 150,000 Amex membership rewards points for spending $10,000 in 3 months. And last year, I actually redeemed a total of 186,500 Amex membership rewards points at a valuation of 2.88 cents per point. So multiplying that valuation to the 150,000 points means that I earned $4,320 from this welcome offer. Note that I only got this cent per point valuation because I booked business class flights to and from Croatia. And not everybody's going to be traveling in this style, but that's how I've always said I would use my Amex points. And I did exactly that with that Croatia trip. So of course I'm going to use the actual valuation that I got for those 150,000 points. Outside of the welcome offer, I did still put some of my business spend on this card. And as I mentioned earlier, this card gives you 4x back on your top two eligible categories from the following list: advertising with US media providers, US electronics goods and software, US restaurants, US gas stations, transit, and US phone services. Plus, it also gives you 3x back on flights or Amex portal hotel bookings and 1x elsewhere. I only use the 4x and 1x categories technically for my tax payments and then some other purchases we'll get into here in a second. And in using those, I got an additional 26,080 points from the card, which at a 2.88 cent per point valuation again is an additional $751.10 worth of value. You may be like, hold on, Spencer, just stop right there. Obviously, this card makes a lot of sense for you to keep using, but remember that most of these points were only earned because I had to spend towards that minimum spending requirement. So I'll have to run some different calculations to see what kind of value I'll get in the future. Before we get into this card's credits, I want to tell y'all about a tool that I've used to basically instantly tell me whether or not I should be keeping or canceling a card, and that is Max Rewards. I don't know about you, but I just hate leaving money on the table, especially with premium credit cards, kind of like this Amex Business Gold here. And one of the ways that Max Rewards paid tier called Max Rewards Gold has helped me to avoid doing that is through its benefits tracker, which basically tells me exactly what benefits I'm using, which ones I need to be using, and helps me calculate my effective annual fee basically instantly. The gold tier gives you access to plenty of other really cool features as well. One of my favorites being the automatic offer activation, which last year alone saved me over $100, and I didn't do anything for that. I didn't have to click on any offers and activate them myself. Max Rewards did all that for me in the background. Don't think you have to pay for Max Rewards Gold though. They do have plenty of free features that you can get value from. And one of the easiest would be the best card feature that tells you exactly what card to use depending on where you're shopping. Or you can search for a future location you're going to go to make sure that you bring the right card with you. Overall, if you're somebody that just wants a good credit card management app that helps you get maximum amount of value back from your credit cards, Max Rewards is something you should try. And if you want to sign up for it, please be sure to use the link down in my description to let them know that I sent you. And during the sign up process, if you enter the promo code Spencer, you'll get a 1-month discount off of your annual Max Rewards Gold subscription if you ever do decide to upgrade. As always, thank you to Max Rewards for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you guys for using my links because it really does support me more than you know. And with that being said, let's get back into the video. The next value add this card gives you is going to be from its 2 credits. First is the $240 worth of flexible business credits for select merchants, including FedEx, office supply stores, and Grubhub. I've almost never shipped anything in my life or stepped foot in an office supply store, so the only one that was applicable to me in my situation was Grubhub. And take advantage of that I did, and I actually locked in $237.33 back from this credit alone. Then the second credit is $155 worth of Walmart Plus credits. Walmart is another store that I've rarely stepped foot in, so its benefits are practically worthless to me. And that even includes the Paramount Plus subscription that you get for free by having Walmart Plus, and that's mainly because it has ads on it, and I don't have time for that, hence why I pay for YouTube Premium and haven't watched an ad on YouTube in a couple of years. At face value, I technically got $154.22 worth of value from the Walmart Plus credits, but that's only because I just got the subscription since I had the ability to get it for free, and I only ever used it twice, so really that shouldn't go towards my effective annual fee calculation. If I was to take that into account, my full first year value would be $5,462.65, which is pretty mind-blowing. But obviously, I can't just take that number and extrapolate it for years to come, so we need to run some future projections here. By the way, a link to join the waitlist to get the spreadsheet that I'm using in this video will be in the top link in the description, so check that out if you're interested. But starting with the points earned, the only 2 4X categories that I see myself using going forward would be for the US electronic goods and services and possibly US restaurants. The Amex Business Gold card is actually the only card that I've ever had that gives me more than 2X back on all of my editing purchases, and that's because for some reason my editing purchases trigger 4X back on US electronic goods and services. But as for my restaurant purchases, I have plenty of other cards that give me 3X back on that category, and I personally choose to use the Chase Sapphire Reserve since I do value Chase's points currency so high. But at this point, surprisingly, I'm not that opposed to switching all of my dining spend from the Chase Sapphire Reserve to the Amex Business Gold card since I have a lot less earning potential with Amex membership rewards than I do Chase Ultimate rewards. Why is that? Well, I've been stuck in Amex pop-up jail for quite some time, so the ability for me to get more welcome offers is pretty much off the table for the foreseeable future, and definitely would be if I canceled this card because that would just further, put me in bad graces with them. But with Chase, I have been able to get a ton of welcome offers every single year, so I'm a little bit more confident that I could sacrifice that spend on the Chase Sapphire Reserve and move it to the Amex Business Gold if I wanted that extra 1X back on those purchases. Currently, I put about $3,200 towards my editing services every year with an additional $10,000 towards my dining purchases. So if I got 4X back on all of that, that would give me 52,800 points per year on this card. But let's just take a really conservative approach here and say that I don't transition that dining spend to the Business Gold. I'd be earning 12,800 points per year if that was the case. At a 3 cent per point valuation, which again, I'm good with using that since that's between what I got last year and what I just redeemed another 189,000 Amex points for this year, those points would be worth $384. Take out the $375 annual fee on the Amex Business Gold, and we're left with a negative $9 effective annual fee. That might seem great, might seem like an easy keep, but we need to compare the opportunity cost of putting those purchases on the no annual fee Amex Blue Business Plus to get 2X back on it. And at the same point valuation, my effective annual fee on that card instead would be negative $192. Now that brings us to the last pieces of the puzzle, how I actually value the credits. Honestly, the Walmart Plus credit is still one that I am not going to really assign much value to at all. but I am moving in the next couple of months, which will mean I have a new studio and stuff like that. And that'll put me closer into the middle of downtown Austin. So one benefit that will become useful then, which isn't useful for me right now, is the gas discount that you get. An underrated perk with Walmart Plus is that you can get 5 to 10 cents off per gallon on Walmart or Murphy gas stations, and 10 cents off per gallon at participating Exxon and Mobil gas station locations. While that's not a massive benefit, I could still probably expect to get roughly $50 worth of value from those savings. So that's what I'll go ahead and enter into the spreadsheet. The flexible business credit, on the other hand, is a more interesting case study. Technically, I can use it and get $240 worth of value back, but the question is whether or not I would use Grubhub without this card. And the honest answer is no, if I didn't have Grubhub Plus through the Lyft Pink membership on my Chase Sapphire Reserve. With Grubhub Plus, that wipes a lot of the delivery fees and random fees that Grubhub assigns, and that actually makes using Grubhub worthwhile. And after much deliberation here, honestly, because I forgot that I had that Grubhub Plus until yesterday, I will be valuing the flexible business credit at a full $240 in value. Now, adding everything together here, without putting any restaurant purchases on this card, I get $640 in value, making my effective annual fee negative $299, beating a no annual fee 2X card like the Amex Blue Business Plus. And if I were to add those restaurant purchases in, now my value skyrockets up to $874 or a negative $1,499 effective annual fee. Of course, got to take into account opportunity cost there for that last number though, of putting, my dining purchases on the Chase Sapphire Reserve and getting 3X back, which if I did, using the same 3 cent per point valuation for simplicity here, the final effective annual fee on the Amex Business Gold would be negative $599, which is still much better than the alternatives. So even though I was ready to cut this card and reduce my overall annual fee burden, this one's actually an easy keeper, at least until my Grubhub Plus trial runs out in February of 2026. We ain't done yet though. There is one other card that I've been considering dropping recently, and that is the Citi Strata Premier. This is a low $95 annual fee card that covers many daily expenses at 3X back, and it's practically the Chase Sapphire Preferred of the Citi ecosystem. Even though it had an elevated offer of 75,000 points rather than the base of 60,000 points at the time of me applying, unlike the Amex Business Gold card, that was actually more of a secondary consideration and not a core reason as to why I applied for it. I honestly strictly wanted it for one benefit alone, and that was access to Citi's transfer partners. My first exposure to the Citi Thank You Point ecosystem was back in April of 2022 when I applied for the Citi Custom Cash, but I never once redeemed any of those points for anything because I was waiting to get the Citi Strata Premier card, unlock access to their transfer partners, and double, triple, or 10x the value of my points. Ironically, that waiting ended up being a complete waste of time because recently I cashed out all of my Citi Thank You points at 1 cent per point. And before you go insane down there in the comments, which I know some of y'all will regardless, and I feel bad for you, note that I do not recommend that most people do this necessarily. I explained my whole rationale on why I did that in a video recently, but to grossly oversimplify it for you real quick, I'm fortunate enough to have an excess of credit card points thanks to this YouTube channel, and I felt really bad having a lot of my points sit there completely unused when they had the ability to be cashed out and put towards investments, specifically in this case for the camera gear that I bought for the channel this year. Either way here, though, my initial plan just completely went out the window, which begs the question, what point do I have in keeping this card now? Well, that's exactly what I aim to find out today. Will I be keeping, canceling, or product changing this card? To do so, we got to do what we did with the last card and pull up the hard data. First, I got the 75,000 points from the welcome offer. Cashed out at 1 cent per point is $750. Could I have gotten 2, 3, 5x this value with the right partners? Yes, I could, but that does not fit my current strategy. So I'm not going to try to oversell my valuations here. We'll just keep it at 1 cent per point. Hey y'all, just wanted to jump in here real quick. I'm on a van trip right now, so excuse the noise and everything like that, but y'all can see we are in the van doing a little Memorial Day weekend in it, but that's besides the point here. I just wanted to mention that the 1 cent per point valuation that I got for redeeming my Strata Premier points is not what you're going to be getting after August 24th. I made a community post about this, but Citi released some news to the Strata Premier card holders that now to redeem for cashback as a statement credit or direct deposit, you'll only get 0.75 cents per point instead of the full 1 cent per point. Based on what we know right now, that should not be impacting the cashback credit cards like the Double Cash and Custom Cash, but it does impact the Strata Premier. My assumption is that maybe they're going more like a Capital One or Chase style where all of the points are, separated on each card. And maybe you can transfer, your cash back from your Custom Cash to the Strata Premier, but maybe not vice versa.
We're not too sure just yet, but that is, my assumption with it. And but yeah, I guess that doesn't really impact my valuation of the Strata Premier too much. Like I have the custom cash that I can use for cash back if I want to, and then have the Strata Premier for travel if I want to. But I just wanted to make the note here that within a couple of months from now, the valuation that I got for redeeming my Citi Thank You points is not what you would get if you only hold the Strata Premier. Okay, back to it.
As for spending on this card outside of the welcome offer, you can get 10x back on hotel, car rentals, and attractions booked through Citi Travel, 3x on air travel, other hotel purchases, restaurants, supermarkets, gas stations, and EV charging stations, and 1x on everything else. Despite all of those great categories, I only ever used it for 3x back on groceries, specifically when I didn't have groceries as a 5x rotating quarterly category on my OG Chase Freedom. And with that, I earned 12,688 points, again, cashed out at 1 cent per point, giving me $126.88 worth of value. One key benefit of this card that I haven't mentioned yet because I always forget to is its hotel credit. Once per calendar year, you can get $100 off of a single hotel stay of $500 or more, excluding taxes and fees, when booked through Citi Travel. But the reason this is always such an afterthought for me is because I don't even remember the last time I paid cash for any hotel or airline booking. Therefore, I didn't use this credit in my first card member year, and I don't expect to going forward, so it's really just a $0 value for me personally. Adding up all of the value I got on this card in year one, which all came from the points earned, I got $876.88 from my Citi Strata Premier in year one. But today, those points have all been redeemed, and obviously I don't seem to have a super high importance on Citi's transfer partners right now, so justifying that $95 annual fee is a bit difficult. For most of the past year, I at least had some way to justify this card since I was using it for 3x back on groceries, but that's actually changed recently. Now I have the PayPal debit card, which gives you 5% back on one category of your choice up to $1,000 a month, and groceries is that category of choice for me. Yes, the PayPal debit card is a cashback card, but y'all know that I've been recently trying to implement a more hybrid approach, so I'll be taking 5% cashback over 3x Citi Thank You points, at least for right now. With that said, I've been strongly debating downgrading my Citi Strata Premier to a second Citi Custom Cash. The Citi Custom Cash that I applied for back in 2022 has and always will be used for 5% back on gas purchases. And by downgrading my Citi Strata Premier to a second one, I could cover another pesky category at 5% back. Let's take a look at what options I have with that though. The Citi Custom Cash gives you 5% back on your top eligible spend category every month up to $500 spent from the list of categories being restaurants, gas stations, grocery stores, select travel, select transit, select streaming services, drugstores, home improvement stores, fitness clubs, and live entertainment. That sounds great, but I'm somebody with 20 credit cards, so I can effectively eliminate the need for 5% back at restaurants, gas stations, grocery stores, select travel, and select transit from this list. And that just leaves select streaming services, drugstores, home improvement stores, fitness clubs, and live entertainment as my options. Personally, I don't spend anywhere near enough on any of those categories to really justify the effort of product changing down to another custom cash and sacrificing that access to Citi's transfer partners. The only other downgrade path that I have from the Strata Premier would be the Citi Double Cash, but I have plenty of cards that cover me at 1.5 to 2x back on my miscellaneous spend, so that's not even an option. So to paint the full picture here, not only will I not be getting any value from the Citi Strata Premier card, but I wouldn't get any value from its downgrade options either. But despite that, I just don't think that I can afford to do anything else but eat that $95 annual fee to keep open the option of eventually using their partners. To be fair, I mean, the welcome offer alone covers the annual fee on this card for like 8+ years. But the bigger consideration here is that I don't want to accidentally ruin my chances of accessing their partners in the future. I'm pretty positive that if I did downgrade the Citi Strata Premier, I could eventually just product change back up after 12 months. But that would be at a minimum, I'd be without their partners for a year. And if I wanted to re-get a welcome offer on the Citi Strata Premier and reapply down the line, I'd have to wait 4 full years. So with my overarching goal of always having the most flexibility possible in my redemption strategy, even if I'm not exercising that flexibility or freedom today, I've still decided that I want to leave this card open as is. As you can tell, neither of these decisions were cut and dry, and that's exactly why I wanted to share them with you. The whole point of me making these videos is for me to document my journey and my thought processes on the credit card game. But another thing that I really love to do is offer suggestions to you guys so you can see how I apply these concepts to other credit card setups. And if you want to see me do just that, go ahead and click into this video next. As always, Odin and I both want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and we'll catch you guys next time.